But you can also use your journal to experiment with art. If you can have a journal and say, okay, what do I journal about? Well, you can record your daily life or use a journal for experimenting with art and different things. So, for example, I have an art journal, and you can actually call it an artist journal, strictly for color mixing and color theory. So, and I put all my mixes in that. I record everything in there. I have an art journal for business, and it's my business plan. I've done my business plan. That all is going to punch me. I've done my business plan in my art journal. It's not something I could take to the bank, but it's just a record of what I'm doing and stuff like that. That's more for my professional work, which is working out really well. And if things change, as business plans do change, I just add in a page, or eyelet a page, bind a page via an eyelet where I've made changes, etc., etc. I have a journal called, and I think I showed this to you, the Black Journal. And what it is all paintings and inspiration that are black. Blackbirds, ravens, anything. I have a series of beautiful photographs of African American people, where I'm going to be doing portraits, and I'm going to do the actual study there first. That's another thing. I have an artist journal for still life studies, where I just paint peppers and onions and anything like a still life. And I do it in my journal because I can also make notes in my journal. That's the one neat thing. Let's see, what else do I have? I have my portrait journal. Oh, that's my phone that's finished charging. That was that big buzzing. I have a portraiture journal where I do my portrait studies. This is for a course that I'm teaching on Interactive Artist Magazine. What else? I have an art experiment journal where I do all my art experiments and I record what I'm doing. And now I'm going to have a background journal, and which is what I'm using for with my Strathmore book. And if I was doing the book of backgrounds in this, then I wouldn't rip the pages out. I would just build my journal pages in this book. But I just had to use up my Strathmore book. What else? I've got what I call the Furry Paw Journal. And the Furry Paw Journal is basically all my studies and technique and art experiments, image transfers and stuff like that, sketches, compositions, rough layouts for pet portraits. I've got one like that. Then I do have a journal where I do more writing in that. Nobody gets to see that one. And Joe's been told that he used to burn that one when I die. So this one here, again, same thing. You're just going to loop through. We're going to loop through, go through the little hole, and then we're going to do it again to make. So basically, we're knotting it twice. So that's it once. As your threads get shorter, they become a lot easier to work with. Oh, and if you have a kitty, have fun with that. When I was doing bookbinding, when we lived downtown Hamilton, chaos would, as soon as she knew if I picked up a paintbrush, and she knew when I was going to do some painting. She would be up on the table. I have many videos where she's actually on camera. It was so cute. So now we're ready to do the next one. So we're going to close this one, put the next one on top, line that up, perfect. Okay. You can have a journaling book, a journal, artist journal, art journal, just on to record your daily life. And let me just repunch these just a little bit. Now, so you can have themed-based journals, or you can have just a journal that is a combination of everything. So usually when you record your life, it would be an everything journal, and you can combine a whole bunch of techniques. In saying that, there are many, 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 many art journaling courses out there, and the art journaling group that I run. So I ask everybody, journal classes that people are taking and what they think of them. And the ones that seem to be the commonplace, okay. So we have Effie Wild. So Effie right now is doing a book of days, and she has a whole bunch of... Now, I kind of like her because she's local. She's half an hour from here, so... Not that I kind of like her just because of that, but it's nice when... Because most of the journalers that I know, they're all in the States. And nothing against that, but, it's nice when something hits home. And so she's got her book of days, and that's how I got inspired for the book of backgrounds. I got inspired by her name with that. And the other one, so there's Effie Wild, and there's Gulf Sprite, there's Willowing, and the only name that I can remember is Daisy Yellow. There's she's got something going on. And who else? Adriana Almanza. I think I pronounced her name right. I love her. Oh my God, I love her dolls, the way she does her dolls. And I've tried, and I've tried, and I've tried. And my formal art training always kicks in. That's my biggest challenge, is making those beautiful animated faces. And I right now do not have the energy to even try to have my left brain and right brain fight for who's going to have control. So I just do what I know, and I'm totally comfortable with myself doing those pages. So I did a journal page for Dark Side of Vintage. It was a portrait of Edgar Allan Poe, and it was not a totally realistic, but it was definitely not animated. It was, and I spent a lot of time doing it. It's on my blog. It's a free video. It's on my blog at artplace.ca, and I also have it on creativeartjournaling.com. And so instead of just fighting it, and some people, everybody's got their own opinions and ideas, but the one thing that I won't tolerate from anybody is somebody criticizing somebody else's journal pages. So whereas if I see an artist doing journal pages and their portraits are more animated, not cartoony, but more illustrated, that's their thing. There's nothing wrong with that. And one thing that I just don't like is that when somebody says, "Oh, your stuff is too cartoony," and if I see that type of comment on an artist's YouTube channel, I'll just come in and say, "But that's their thing. Like, who's to say it's wrong?" Something, and same with my stuff. Some of the portrait stuff I do is a bit more realistic than what people would like to do in journaling. Well, that's my thing. So it's all about what you want to make it, whatever you want to make it. Then there's no wrong. There's no wrong way to do it. If you like doing something one way, do it. And at the same time, be open to trying new things. That's how you grow. And then, so if you're not an art journaler, but you kind of like some of the themes, every single thing that I teach, unless I specifically say you must do this way on this, actually it's more of the support that you're using. If I say you must do it on canvas, or you must do it on, blah, 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 all of my videos, you can do it in an art journal or Masonite Terraskin, anything. It's not specifically isolated to art journaling. So you may be saying, well, okay, well, how do you figure that? If you're doing, and I'll just take the Dark Side of Vintage project that I'm doing, which is also free for anybody to participate in. That's on creativeartjournaling.com. So if somebody is saying, well, okay, I'm not an art journaler. I'm not going to be working in an art journal, but how can I participate in Dark Side of Vintage? Well, that's fine. You do whatever you want. So let's say you only work on canvas. Okay, you only work on canvas. And basically, instead of working in a journal, you work on canvas. It's as simple as that. And you don't have to put words on your book. So like the theme for last week, which is a really cute theme, was in Paris. So Dark Side of Vintage in Paris. And so you would just basically create a piece of art. You notice I didn't say journal page. Create a piece of art on whatever substrate you want. So if your substrate is an art journal, that's fine. If your substrate is masonite, terraskin, canvas paper, what have you, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want, as long as you're creating art. If you want to paint it, you want to draw it, you want to collage it, I don't care. That's not the point of, I'm not telling you how to do it. It's basically you have to find it within yourself on how you want to create it. I don't know if any of that's making sense, but it's just to encourage you, basically encourage you just to create art. Now, some of the themes that we have, you can also use that as a challenge. So, like the one for this week was being outdoors. So, Dark Side of Vintage, being outdoors. And your challenge could be, think of, well, Dark Side of Vintage, being outdoors. Well, think of what do you think a page would look like if the sub-theme was being outdoors, and keeping in mind that the overall look is the Dark Side of Vintage. Then I've had some people say, well, Dark Side of Vintage, what does that mean? It means whatever you want it to mean. So you can have it where it can be Dark Side of Vintage, meaning dark colors. Dark as in gothic and grungy. You can even make it dark as evil if you want, if that's your thing, and then there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the next hole now. So bottom, I've done my 2 knots. Come in here. Oh, I have to repunch. It's the inside pages that need to be repunched. So if somebody says, oh, I'm not an art journaler, you don't have to be an art journaler to participate in any of the projects that I'm doing. There we go. When I first started, like my actual first art journal was a journal that I was using outdoors when plein air painting. I would sketch the scene. Okay, so I went into the hole, and I'm just going to go straight to the next one. I would sketch the scene, make notes of the smells, the sounds. At that time, what Harley was doing, if he was in the water, what Joe was doing, how Joe was feeling. When I was doing all that stuff, it's just it helped, because once I painted outdoors, by the time I got home to the studio, and at that time now I was in Brantford, I would forget a lot of what was going on. So with the journal holding all the sketches, it refreshed my memory. I was able to remember what was going on around me. And I would do, little watercolor sketches and drawing sketches, acrylics, oils in there, not so much because the oils take too long to dry, but everything was with acrylics and watercolors. So that's how I started, and then as it went, when I was veering off doing landscapes, because Joe had developed a heart condition and we couldn't do the hiking we were doing anymore. So I had to basically do something else, and that's where I started with the portraiture work, and that really took off. And so now that from there I started using journals for my portrait sketches, ideas and stuff like that. And I would write notes. So if I was working with a dog, and a dog has something special. So I would get a lot of pictures, and I would do quick sketches in my pet portrait journal. Many times it was it was a full journal, but many times it was just two signatures together, and it was two signatures. Okay, so with this one, like 4 sheets for one dog, and in there I would sketches and color swatches of the color of the fur, and then if I actually had the dog live in front of me, I would write down what they were doing, little quirks that they had, anything that I can use to actually put into the final painting. So, but the color swatch thing was really good because you can really see what the colors are better. You can actually go up to the pet and flip their fur up and see what their fur is like and the texture and stuff like that. So that's that. If you're big into sewing, we just finished, actually it's in place now, a journal page swap. And the journal page I finished off was based on, the theme was vintage sewing. And I had a lot of fun with that one, and it's a very thick and textured page. I actually created a mannequin, a flat mannequin with an actual dress. I handmade a little wire for her dress and took some beautiful sewing patterns and that, and just had fun with it. But that page was something like I've never created before because I did collage work and a lot more mixed media stuff. And that's the whole thing, is that you can use whatever medium you want, but if you're too comfortable doing something, see if you can just, experiment and try something different, just to keep your mind learning. There's nothing wrong with learning, because I don't care who you are, you will never know everything. And if you're like me, my brain is a sponge. I don't have enough hours in the day to learn everything I want to learn. And even though I'm teaching the portraiture a portraiture class called Painting Portrait Features on Interactive Artist Magazine, I still study under master artists, whether it's in person or getting their videos or taking an online class. I still do that. Even though I know how to do it, there's nothing wrong with learning from different people. It keeps you fresh and open to trying new things. I will soon, when I can find the time. Mia graduates from doggy obedience school, her basic training, on Saturday, and we're doing the website for the trainer. So that's almost wrapped up. So I'll have a bit more time with that. I'm giving Joe a hand. But once I have a bit more time, I want to take a journaling class from Adriana, her doll dreams. Oh, her stuff is so funky, and her dolls are so romantic. I am doing the Book of Days from Effie. I unfortunately haven't had the time to put towards it as I should. There's a few from Gulf Sprite. There's a bunch of them that I really want to try. There's what is her name? There's his name, Tisha Moore's husband, Tracy Moore. I love some of his stuff. I saw some of his journals in a magazine, and his stuff was so nice. Some of the ways he would bound his books and stuff, really, really cool. So, and there's a good place to get a lot of that stuff is Cloth, Paper, Scissors. They have a good lineup of journaling stuff. There are a few journaling artists that I will not buy any of their material because of attitude. Some people with, journals, they have the attitude that they are better than everybody else, and no, not interested in that. We all put our pants on the same way every single day, or dress, top, bra, whatever you want to call it. We all wake up every day, we eat, then we go to bed. Okay, so if there's an artist out there that you like their work, but it's just their attitude, then read their material. Don't watch their videos. That's what gets me. I'm not going to mention the artist because that's just me. But anything that's toxic, where somebody makes me feel inferior, I won't bother with those people. There's enough crap going on in life. You need to fill your life with positive things. And why be that way? We all learn. There's so many things that we can learn from each other. And why not share some of it? That's why I stopped my videos at one point. Did I make a knot on that one? Yeah. My videos at one point, I was just doing 30-minute videos because I wanted to be quick and fast. Nah. You end up skipping too much stuff with that. I want to share as much as I can with you guys, to try to make it entertaining. This is tediously boring, but I'm talking so you can listen. And then if I make a mistake, at least you'll catch it and see how I get out of it. Now I do make my videos as long as they need to be, and I talk a lot through them. And I did have some YouTube people making comments that I talk too much. Well, then don't watch the video. I did make the video for you. I made it for everybody else. And I honestly would prefer going into more detail for a beginner. That way I can explain everything. And if you find it boring, then there's a little thing that's great on a video or a DVD. It's called fast forward. Like I saw, there's some artists, and I'll call them artists because they create, where there's one particular one, she makes these really amazing little journals, and she's had to basically block the, what's it called, the dislike thing on YouTube, because there's people out there, I don't know if it's competition or something, that are just constantly hitting the dislike, and which is a shame. I had somebody on my YouTube channel bash me because I pronounced an art product wrong. Oh, come on. You don't need to bash somebody for that. Goodness sakes. All these people on YouTube, well, I'll specifically refer to the artists because that's basically what I watch, are taking their time and energy to share with you. Don't criticize them because they say something wrong. If I had to correct, if I got $1 or even a nickel to everybody who pronounces my name wrong, I'd be a gazillionaire. But you know what? I don't care. There's better things in life to worry about than how I pronounce the name of a product. There we go. So you see how nice this looks? Yeah, it's kind of crooked, but it's not looking too bad. You could also, if you got three of these, and I think you'd have to do it with probably 3 needles and 3 threads, you can do another braid right on top of this. Let's see what else. Oh, as for, journals that, when you record your life, and let's say it's kind of dark. I'm not a trained psychologist or psychotherapist or psychologist or whatever have you. I simply just, if you're something, and this is not just for me, this is for if you're taking any type of journaling class, if you find that when you're journaling that you've got some emotions stirring up inside you, and unless the journal teacher is a trained professional, talk to a professional if your journaling is stirring up some feelings inside you. And that's all I'll have to say about that. Depends on what you're using your journal for. We're almost done. I am going to purposely make a mistake on something, well, not really make a mistake, but where I want to show you how to get around is if you run out of thread, or get into where you've got yourself tied up in a knot that you can't get out of. So you can see how long this is. It is tedious, but it is an absolute beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stitch to do. There's what's her? I have to get her. J.K. something. Ludwig. I took one of her bookbinding courses. This is way back, and she had this amazing. Because actual proper bookbinding. Now let me show you. This is my very first book that I bought when I was learning art journaling. Not learning art journaling, learning how to make them. The bookbinding. Because I was getting so confused over the internet. And this one here, she's got some amazing things. Now there's something called sewn on tapes. And I'm going to show you this because it's going to refer back to... Oh, but she doesn't show a picture. Hold on a second. Oh, seriously? How about some covers? Oh, I've done this type book. Okay, hold on. Bear with me for a second. I'm sorry. I thought that she had some... Okay, anyways, what it is, and you can see it from here. So what it is that, for this purpose, is that you're making a stitch, and it's just an in and out stitch, and then you're putting tape around, and then you glue this into a cover. Well, what this lady did, and Ludwig is her last name. She's actually with the threads going around. She actually then had to, and then she sewed over the thread like this cord. Holy smokes, it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Hey, I wonder if her name is actually in the back of here as an inspiration. No, too bad. But her stuff is just amazing. But she's the journaler from Creative Wildfire, so you should be able to find that quite easy. And that book as well is really, really good. There we go. Diana Trout, her stuff is pretty good too. There's what's another one? There's a lady, Deanna D something, DEA. I think just short form. I learned to do, before I got this book, she did some beautiful bookbinding. I actually bought her video. This is from Cloth, Paper, Scissors. And a concertina. And I thought, what a beautiful name, Concertina. And she was very, very professional, and she was very entertaining. Love her stuff. Oh, who can talk about art journaling and not talk about Julie Faye Fenbalzer. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name right. Oh, she's so fun. She is so fun. I didn't realize that she had a show on, I think, Create TV, but she's done a lot of stuff on Cloth, Paper, Scissors. Oh, she's just so fun. And she's a scissor snob. I thought that was so cute. But her stuff is just all about having fun. That's what she does, just having fun. And some of the stuff, I've learned a lot of stuff from her. And she's fun. I'm trying to think of who else. Now, for all you Tim Holtz fans out there, I don't think he's a journaler per se, but his products, they're made, they're not just made by Ranger, because I think he does stuff with other people like the Vagabond is Sizzix and stuff like that. But the stuff that he has, amazing. Oh, I love his stuff. I try not to put all Tim Holtz stuff in one page, because then it just looks like a Tim Holtz page. But a lot of the stuff that he has is just so wild, because it's my style, the vintage grunge. I love that look. Steampunk. I'm huge into steampunk, and there's Seven Gypsies is another one. They've got some amazing stuff. And so, okay, here we go. Mistake. Look what I just did. I went from here to here. What do I do? Well, this is a really simple one. You just go back. Now, you can try to go back this way, and hopefully you're not going to get the needle into the middle of the thread, or the best way to do it, just unthread that and then pull it out. Okay, that was a really easy mistake. That's just a stupid thing I did. It happens, though. It happens, it happens, it happens. Am I worried? No, I'm having too much fun talking to you. What else? Where was I? Seven Gypsies. Oh, I am now addicted to Graphics 45. And this stuff here, now, I don't know a lot about scrapbooking, so if I say something wrong, please don't get mad. I'm not a scrapbooker, but a lot of the scrapbooking papers and that, I use them to make cards. And that's another thing I've just started getting into, is making my own cards, because I put my artistic thing. I even paint on cards. So, but Graphics 45, their stuff, oh man. They have one called Steam. They just released Steampunk Spells and Typography. Oh, geez, and we can't get that stuff up here. Well, not that I know of. If anybody knows, if you're in Hamilton area, Oakville, Kitchener, Cambridge area, I would love to know where you can get that stuff. And if for me, if I have to drive more than an hour to get it, I won't bother. I don't need paper that bad to leave a heck of a carbon footprint with gas and stuff like that. What else? Oh yeah, so the Graphics 45 stuff. So I'm making cards, and I'm learning to do the one a birthday card I'm making is an endless card, where you keep folding it open, and it just keeps going. And I've never been into card making, but I have a whole new respect for people out there who make cards. Like, oh my God, it's an art form. It really is. And the papers, and I was thinking, when I went into Michael's, I saw these papers that when I wanted to kind of expand my journaling, I think, I'm not using scrapbook paper. This is for scrapbookers. And that was such a bad attitude for me to have, because the papers themselves, and I didn't know, you don't have to use the papers as a whole. You cut pieces out, and at that time I didn't have a die cutting machine and didn't know, and it just took me meeting some new people online and looking at some of their work. And there's some of my friends, there's specific ones, and I'm not going to single them out, but there are some ones that their work is just absolutely fantastic. I just cannot get over some of their journaling pages that they make, and cards and stuff. Just, oh, it blows my mind. And then I asked them, because I'm learning, and not one has said no, that they won't share their technique with me. You'll find that from people who do classes. Well, not saying all. You'll find that with people who more do the classes, where they don't want to share the information for free. They want you to take one of their classes. They're not all like that. But, the best people to ask questions to are the ones that you love their art. Those are the ones. And I am just so grateful to everybody that's helped me learn along the way. And I tell you, right now is the way it is. If I didn't do art journaling in the more creative way that I'm doing it now, I think I'd go insane. There's only so many ways that you can do a pet portrait. Not knocking that either, but doing the journaling, it really allows me to be more creative to, it's kind of like my release. Okay, we're getting there. Let's see, what else can I share with you? What else can I share with you? I had a list of things that I wanted to talk about, to share with you, and I can't find the list. I can't find the list. Okay, then we're going up into the net. Oh my God, I made 2 holes there. Okay. I repunched the hole, but now I have 2 holes. I have one here and I have one here, and they're both in the wrong spot. So what do? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take my needle and go into the hole that's closest to the spine. With these needles, they are so sharp that you could actually just, when you assemble your signatures, and you just make that pencil line the way I showed you, and just use your needle to make the holes as you stitch. The only problem you run into is when you want to go into the back, but your pencil mark is here. But you can just take your needle, and that way you're pretty well guaranteed that they're going to be straight. Let's see, what else can I share with you? I may not have to mimic running out of thread. I think I might actually run out of thread. What else? Oh, here's something else. You will see when you're journaling, if you're new to this, and I don't mean to offend anybody that uses certain products, but there's some companies out there that they've made, whoopsie, okay, mistake, well, not really mistake. I don't know if you can see that. The needle went through the actual thread. You don't want to do that, because then if you need to tighten it, you're not going to be able to get a nice tight grip. So pull it back out. Okay, and just kind of make that snug again and put it through. There we go. But if you find that as you've done your book, and let's say you're way down here and realize you went through the thread here, if it's snug, just leave it. But if it's a really loose thing, you need to undo your stitches and go back. If you're taking a journaling class and the art journaler says you must use product A, B, C, D, E, that's a load of poppycock, because you don't need to must do anything. You use whatever you have on hand. That's the beauty about art journaling, is that there's really no rules. In saying that, if an artist tells you you must use product A, B, and C because, you might use product A, B, and C because it's a specialized product, let's say for crackling or whatever, to get this effect, then that's a different story. But somebody who says you must use brand A for paint, well, no, you don't. You don't. I'll be very honest with you, I am a deco art helping artist. I use deco art product for everything that I can. I'm also a line nickel user for their brushes, because their brushes are fantastic. Not everybody likes deco art products. Not everybody likes line nickel products. That's fine. Use whatever you have. Doesn't matter to me. But when I'm doing something, and I'm doing it with a specialized product, let's say if I'm using the triple thick or something, I don't know of a product like triple thick, so I would say, well, this is what I use for this, and that's that. Same thing with those translucent sprays that you can get. Clunk clunk. You don't have to spend a lot of money on translucent sprays. You know why? Because you can just get watercolors and mix them up with water and put them into a spray bottle. Voila, you have a spray. You want your spray to be shimmery? Add a little bit of, what's that called? Perfect Pearls, which is like a little glitter. If you actually use glitter, it might clog up the nozzle. There's so many different ways to make homemade products. And not saying that's the only way to do it, because, you know, like, to support the economy. Not everybody has the money to go out and buy a whole bunch of products. You have to work within your means. So you can do a lot of Googling on how to make washi tape. Washi tape is cool. I just can't justify spending $8 for a roll of tape oh, there goes Mia. Oh, I better pause. Let me go see what she's doing. Sorry about that, everybody. That was the post lady putting 2 packages inside the door, between the storm door and the wood door, and Mia was going crazy. It was a wonderful package from my friend Mary. Mary runs the Creative Art Journaling website with me, our Yahoo group, and she sent me Graphics 45 Steampunk Spells paper. Oh, I'm so happy. I can't wait to finish this video here just so I can start reusing it. Oh, man. Thank you, Mary. Mary's been so good to me, because a lot of the stuff that she has access to, I can't get up here. Yeah, Mia's not... I feel so safe with having her here, especially when Joe's not here. She, as soon as we told her quiet, and she stopped. Okay. I have to find out how to do, like, I want to do like a steampunk themed journal, but I want to base it on, like, how do you, people who are not into Halloween, how can you make a book based on, like, the steampunk stuff? Like, a lot of stuff they have is, like, Halloween stuff as well, and I don't know how you would, like, how would you word that? Oh, this is getting thick now. But that'll be a project, upcoming project. Oh, there we go. Whoopsie, we have one more to go. So I hope that, you know, if you've stuck with me, this is going to be so mega crooked. Look at that. That is so mega crooked. If you stuck with me throughout this whole video, I thank you. There we go. And hopefully some of you will join our art journaling group, Creative Art Journaling, because it's free, and we don't swap whole journals. We swap just pages based on a theme, and that makes it much cheaper for shipping. Even if you don't want to do the swaps, just to join and, you know, do some free activities, that's fine too. Am I gonna have enough thread? Oh yeah, I will. If you were to run out of thread, what you would do is get to the point where you can get to an end, tie it off, then start a new one with a couple of knots, and then you'll be fine. And there are so many different ways that you can bind journals. Sometimes you can get a little overwhelmed and you spend more time making your journal than creating in it. That's going to happen. When I do my art journaling, I always make my own journal, and that's just me. Whoops. Oh, okay, here's another mistake. Okay, so I put this through. I think I did this at the beginning, okay? But it went through inside, okay? The reason being is I'm actually putting it through these 2 pages right here, okay? So if that happens, and you kind of have to keep checking every once in a while, you open it up, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to repunch the hole. It's because the paper's shifted a little bit. Right where that thread is. Okay? And then just go in there. Okay, so now we're good. All I did was just make the hole a little bit bigger. It also depends on how you hold your paper. See? There we are. And, you know, check the tension every once in a while. Just don't make it too tight, because if you make your book too tight, then as you start adding stuff in it, it's going to fan out. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can make a wraparound cover and tie it. I love making journals. Love, love, love making journals. I don't know why, like I'm going to use the Strathmore journal for the actual book of backgrounds. So last year I used a Canson journal and I just ripped out the pages because I couldn't stand working in that book. And I wanted to work. Okay, here, another one. The hole is way off center. I'm not going to worry about it because there's a bunch of stitches that are off, but you could actually just repunch the hole if you wanted to. Then you'll end up with, you'll end up with a hole, 2 holes. What I'm going to do is I can cover the imperfections with a charm or something. Okay. I don't know why I'm having trouble working in a manufactured journal. I don't know if it's something that's in my subconscious that's telling me you must work in something that you made, or you're an artist and you should be using something. The Strathmore, the visual journal, and their watercolor journal, and all the journals that they've made, they're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. But I've had it for the longest time, and I could not bring myself to use it for art journaling, and I don't know why. It's not about the quality of the book, I just don't know why. So what I'm hoping, I have this big thing of I freeze when I see white. If I had to create a journal page on this, I'd probably freeze. I have to put a background on there. And then the background, then what I'll do is the whole book will be full of backgrounds, and I'll flip, or even I have a box of papers that have done backgrounds, and I'll flip till I find one that speaks to me, and I will create on that one. So maybe when I've done finished the book of backgrounds, 2013 edition, I'll be able to actually journal inside it. Now, how the heck did I do that? There we go. But yeah, their journals, oh, amazing quality. Absolutely wonderful. And actually, the Canson one wasn't a journal, it was a mixed media book. I found the papers too thin. That's just me. When it comes to working with colored pencil and drawing and that, sorry, let me try that again. When it comes to working with colored pencil and pastels, I prefer Stonehenge paper. Again, that's just me. I don't know if Strathmore has paper for pastel work. I actually like the Color Fix suede paper better for when I work with the pan pastels. I did some amazing wildlife paintings, pastel paintings of tigers on Color Fix paper. Last one, yay! You're really not doing anything different. You're gonna put a triple knot on the end. Okay. Oh. Now, with watching this video, the actual one with the covers is going to be, the actual hardcover is going to be a separate video. But this stage here, okay, because you're already watching this one, this stage here, that's going to be fast forwarded. I'm not going to edit it out, it'll be fast forwarded. Like by 800% or something. I think I'll record that cover book tomorrow. My hands are tired. That's the thing. If your hands are tired, regardless of what you're doing, art-wise or whatever, stop. Stop, stop, stop. Now my hands hurt a lot. Oh. Yeah, that's a little bit thick. The problem with these is that if they're just way too thick, you'll actually break them. And then we're just going to continue on the same way. Nothing's changed. Yeah, little charms on this would be neat. I heard a saying, is it I heard a saying or saw it typed somewhere? This is getting heavy. Tim Holtz, embrace imperfection. I think that is such a wonderful sentiment. that people spend a lot of time trying to make something perfect, and then you end up losing. You end up being concentrating more on perfection, and then you kind of lose the spirit of the piece. I remember when I first started doing cards. Oh my God! The card swap I was belonging to. And these people were doing cards for years, and some of them were actually professional card makers. Talk about intimidation, but these people were totally amazing and shared techniques with me. And then I did a swap, Cards R Us swap, and it took me 7 tries to get the page done right. To get the card right. 7 tries. That's not about being perfectionist. It's the technique I was doing just wasn't working. So, and that's just from not having the right supplies. There we go. See? Yeah, so I hope you guys can check out my blog and for the other free videos and join our journaling group. It was a small group. We started out with only, I think, 12 people. And we concentrate more on the quality of the people and not just people who just sit there and watch and don't participate in anything. And it's getting bigger every day. And we have a lot of fun activities to do, and people are from all over the world. There we go. It's a great way to practice your techniques. We even had 2 young girls as part of that group. Aria and Prutha. Okay, this one's going to be a triple knot. And even though my string is waxed, I will add a bead of glue just to the top. Part. Oh. You know what I haven't been checking? On the snugness of the string. And how much do you want to bet I'm going to find a signature that the thread's not tight. So these are nice. So these ones here, you can actually create, this is quite a thick page. My table was dirty. Oh, there's the writing I did. Ah, here's one. Nothing I can do about it, and I'm not going to worry about it. I can use that opportunity to hang stuff, like a bookmark or something. But these are cool because they will stay flat. Man, I need to clean my table. See? Oh, the little one here. Check your stitches as you do them. There. So this is an optional book that you can use for your book of backgrounds. And as we go, we'll be creating, and this is a spread. And as I'm doing the videos, there's going to be a couple where there may be 3 pages. So you would do 1 spread. So it's 1, 2, 3. I know there is one that is going to be 3, so like the first video will have a technique here. Next video I may have 3, and there'll be a technique here, and then maybe I'll use the cover. Who knows? Okay. The cover I usually decorate at the end because then I decorate the cover based on the theme. But holy smokes! Look at all these pages. This would be an amazing journal. Now from here. With the Coptic Stitch, you traditionally don't wrap a cover around the whole thing. You can if you want, but then you could just go with a faster stitch. This is where then, if you wanted to attach covers after the fact, so you could still do that. And you basically, if you want to attach covers after, you would have to use masking tape to hold these down because the clamps won't go on top. So you mark your hole, mark it with a pencil line, punch it with your awl, and then just do a stitch. Sew this to this. Okay, that's that. The next video I'm going to do is where we're actually going to incorporate the covers into the book right from the very beginning. But you can add covers at any time you want. That's no big deal, and it actually makes for quite a nice book. You can also, optionally, instead of putting a paper here, when your book is stitched, actually tape or glue the first page to the back of your book. Okay, that way that'll make it even stronger. So you would it'll be stitched here, and then just glue, or we use double-sided tape. All right. So that's that. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you stayed with me through the whole thing, wow, kudos to you. I hope that I was able to give you some information, share some information about, types of journaling. And I know I went off on some tangents, doing this, watching the monitor, trying to talk make sense to you guys. I hope that you guys did gain some type of information that, especially for the beginners, that would encourage you to try art journaling. And if you're not an art journaler, just take the theme, even do it in the book, and just create the art. If anything, do you know how many canvases you would canvases or masonite boards you would have to have in order to create art pieces, this many art pieces? Okay, so think. You may think, oh, it's just, 2 pieces of paper. It's not. Including the cover, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 painting surfaces. 8 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You do the math. Do you know how many canvases or pieces of masonite you would have to need room for all this? And this way you have your art all in one place. So I will leave you with this, and join me for the next video where I do the same type of journal, but this time I will be incorporating covers right from the get-go. So until then, stay inspired.